So his blood family thought he was crazy and possessed. We all have family. We all have blood family, earthly family. And our own families have their own obstacles that we go through with them every day. But the Bible is very clear on how we're supposed to love that family. But the Bible is also very clear on which family we should invest the most time in. If we invest the right amount of time in the right family, then we learn how to invest the right amount of time into the other family. So Jesus, when he was hanging on the cross looking down at Mary, he didn't stop what was going on and say, Mary, I need you to go get James so I can tell him what we need to do next. He didn't do that. Go get one of my brothers or go get one of my sisters. We need to talk about this. We need to see if the will is in order. We need to make sure we know how this is going to go forward. He didn't do that. He didn't come up with some grand scheme or plan. He wasn't considering any of that. What he noticed as he was hanging on the cross is he realized that his earthly mother was in terror and turmoil, and he knew that was the last thing he needed to handle before he let it go. In Galatians 4, and church, listen now, when I was studying this, I got beside myself. He needed a support system. He knew she needed love. Woman, behold your son. Disciple, behold your mother. In that moment, Jesus released her from her sorrows and gave her hope. Church, there's a hope for you tonight. If you're here tonight and you got sorrow in your heart, if you're here tonight and you've suffered tragedy, or you've suffered things that you don't think any of us could understand, if you compare that to what was going on in this story right here, in this time in history, not just a story, this thing that happened, Mary, the earthly mother of Jesus Christ, stood and watched him die on the cross. And before he died, he released her to one of his disciples for him to care for her. So Jesus trusted John. Right? 1 John chapter 2, verse 6 says, he who says he abides in him ought himself also to walk just as he walked. Like I said earlier, Jesus didn't stop the show and call for his brothers or call for his sisters to take care of his mama. He called on one that he knew he could depend on. He called on one that he knew would love and care for his mother in the days to come. He knew John would obey the responsibility given to him. So church, tonight, I don't know your situation, and I don't know what you're going through. But in verse 27, he looked down at John and said, behold your mother. I got a lot of close friends in my life, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know that I have a friend that I trust enough to look at in a situation like this and say, you take care of my mother. Jesus looked down at John and said, behold your mother. And this we can't miss right here. It says, then from that hour, that disciple took her to his own home. He didn't send her to Aunt So-and-so's to have a meal and get some rest. He didn't go home and make sure it was okay with his family and get her a room ready. It says from that hour, he took her home to his own home. Church, when God gives us a plan, from that hour, we're to follow that plan. So tonight in this room, and those listening on Facebook, disciples and mothers and fathers and children and brothers and sisters, what will you do this hour? Church, here we are. God's telling us, mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother. So from this hour, what will we do? Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this night. God, I thank you for this season. God, most of all, I thank you for my salvation. Thank you for using